Hey everyone, Happy New Year. I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for your recent subscribers, to those who have subscribed to us, Esther S T. We are so grateful to see 2025. How about you? How have you enjoyed your 2025 so far?
Yeah, it's been cool so far. It's only been a few days in, but
Yes.
thankful to the Lord that He's brought us to this new year. And Lord willing, it'll be a great year for us, but also for many of you who will be watching this video also.
We are here to first and foremost say and share a massive thank you to our subscribers, those of our loved ones who knew the season that we were in a few months ago. As you will now see from the title, we are parents and we are so grateful and blessed to have this opportunity of being able to raise up a beautiful child. Our baby is literally in front of us, so we're really praying that the baby stays quiet as possible. But we just want to take this time to just briefly share a bit of our journey into my pregnancy, what I experienced, and the positive outcome that I had during my pregnancy, and of course, from a man's perspective, how he found it. We also want to give inspiration and encouragement to those who are also desiring children, but my perspective is for the men in particular, because we know that as much as the women are important, men are also important and they play a very big role to the process. So, babe, do you want to start with your experience of how you found the journey of myself being pregnant with baby, how you navigated it, and what you are currently enjoying at the moment being a father?
Um, a lot of questions all in one. In terms of how did I find it? Uh, Funnily enough, relatively calm. I feel like from the time where we knew, or we were guessing Esther was going to be pregnant, it was kind of like we kind of knew that we are probably going to be in a season of expectation. So then when we got the confirmation that we are indeed expecting, it didn't come as like a surprise or a shock, at least not to me. So definitely very grateful. And I'd always known that the time would come, Lord willing, that we would enter into this season. So the actual journey of pregnancy, as you said, normally for fathers, or fathers to be, a lot of people say that sometimes they don't really feel like, oh, it doesn't feel real until they get to like a certain point. And that point differs for everyone. For some, it might be when they start seeing the physical bump from their partner. For some, it might be when they feel the first kick of the bump to be like, actually, yeah, there's a little baby in there. It's my child. For some, it's literally like when they're being born. That's when they feel like, oh, right, this is real. But for myself, no, I knew it was real from the time that I got the news that no, we're expecting and we're pregnant. And so yeah, God has been with me through every step of the journey, and it was just a lot of preparation for when the time was to come that our child would be here. So during the process, it was mostly relatively alright. In terms of what I'm enjoying the most, so this one is for the guys. Pregnancy pillow is no more. Um, I'm just gonna put it
Oh.
like that. For those of you who know, like this and comment. For those of you who don't know, in due time you might know the pregnancy pillow is something that will feature during your pregnancy, and I'm just gonna say we thank the Lord that it's not needed anymore. That's as easy and as light as I'm gonna put it. No disrespect to anyone who loves the pregnancy pillows. What they are, they're very great for the one who is using it, but they are not as great for the person who is not using it but just happens to be next to it. Thank you, Lord. He definitely sustained us during that period of time. But for now, that's probably the major things. I know that Esther's got a lot more in terms of like how her experience and how her journey was. Obviously, for fathers, we can be involved during the pregnancy stage, but obviously, like we're not the ones physically carrying the baby, so our experiences can be, for some, it can feel a little mute. For some, they can feel like, okay, I'll be involved once the baby's arrived, but until then, it's like I'm just like a passenger on the journey. But for others, they try to be as involved as they can be. And at least for our experience, I tried to be as involved as I could be as they got me involved. We definitely did a lot of talking and a lot of planning as to what we're hoping to see. We were both actively involved in our antenatal classes, which were definitely very insightful and very useful. Thankfully, Esther and I are around quite a lot of families already, whether they be couples in and around our age already, family members, or wider friends in our social group. So we've had a lot of time spent being around other families, which has definitely helped to provide insight as to what we could expect when the time comes for us. And so that's definitely provided a benefit. It wasn't that we were specifically like, oh, now that we're pregnant, let's look for who else has like young children, young families who we're going to be around. It's like, no, it was just naturally, we were already around great friends and great family who had young families already. And we're just in the environment where we've already been interacting with them. Some of them are very close friends of ours. So we've had great time spending with young people to help us inform how we want to raise our child. Bless you, little one. You might hear, as Esther said, our child is literally right behind the camera. So if you do hear a couple of noises, please forgive us. Give him some grace. He's excited to be here as well.
Thank you so much, Brave. And really, just to add on that, yeah, the antenatal classes were really great. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm really grateful that I attended and my husband did. And there were so many other couples there. Some of our couples were already ahead of us. So at our last antenatal class, we only had about 3 couples in total that arrived because the majority of them were either giving birth or already have given birth. So that was a big experience. But I want to talk about my pregnancy journey and just really how I found the process. And from the time I found out that I was pregnant, I was very excited. And we also surprised our families. So my husband surprised his family at one of his brother's birthdays, and I surprised my family in my family home. And their expressions were just epic. I mean, if you remember your brother's reactions, my siblings' reactions, it was just so emotional. Even some of our dear friends, we told them, they were also very surprised. They were so supportive, even to the extent of preparing our baby shower, which was just so amazing. And I want to thank those that attended once again. It was just excellent. The weather was great, the food was lovely, the advice given, even throughout our journey of pregnancy, it has really been so humbling. The love, the support, even things that we didn't ask for has been provided for. And for me personally, throughout the 3 trimesters, I really did enjoy them all because they were all so special. What made it special as well is the intention of going to Lake Como and Milan just before baby was born. We thought that it was really important to have time as a family of 2 before we turn into a family of 3. And that is something that I definitely do encourage those who are pregnant or desiring to be pregnant to take time away to spend with your husband or your wife, because once you have children, your life will not be the same and you cannot go back. But moving on, in terms of the actual preparation for the pregnancy, I was given books by a dear friend of mine, given a pregnancy pillow, as my husband rightfully stated. It was so comfortable, and I do encourage it for the pregnant ladies out there. Whoop, whoop. Also, lots of information on how to prepare mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Of course, reading the Bible is number 1, but also being able to learn from other mothers. I was also very mindful of not doing too much in-depth research on what I need to do, just taking it really slow. The 2 apps I used in particular was What to Expect and Baby Center. So those were the 2 apps that I used to keep me going, keep me updated, and of course receiving weekly emails via NHS so that I can see by each week how baby's growth is developing. My midwives were amazing. I loved them all. Even the entire experience from the hospital up until midwife appointments, health visitors appointments, they've all been so positive. When we got to our 3rd trimester, I'm really grateful that I was 1 day before my due date that I was able to give birth to our baby. So thanks be to God, I wasn't late. I was just on time at week 39, and that was my personal desire. I also wanted a pain-free natural labor, and it sounds really, like wow. People always see pregnancy as painful, but I had to train my mind to be intentional about receiving it as not a painful thing, but a thing of joy. And that was one of the things I came into pregnancy with, is to see it as a thing of joy. The advice I was given, I just listened. I took my time to pray. I took my time to meditate and to be still, but ultimately just to be present. And my experience with where I gave birth was really positive. It was a very quick turnaround. We arrived at the hospital within 12 hours. and my contractions started literally a few hours after that. It got quite more intense at the time of midnight towards 1 a.m. And then around 1:15, I was in active labor, and the process was really great. The midwives, the support midwives, the student midwives, they were all so kind and patient. One of the ladies also said to me, "Oh, do you know that you're contracting?" And I said I didn't know because I didn't feel any pain at that time. The pushing process was really great. I think for me, my mind was set at the pushing will be a bit more intense than the contractions, but no, the pushing was lovely, very smooth. I gave birth to our baby in half an hour. It was just so supernatural. That's literally all I can say. I One of the things I did also ask for was a pain-free natural labor, no epidural, just gas and air, and that was really one of my greatest testimonies to date, that God really allowed me to give birth to, if I can say this, my Hebrew baby, or our Hebrew baby. God gave me the strength to give birth to our Hebrew baby. And I'm just grateful that I've had this experience. And I would encourage anyone that is believing God for children to really have an open mind, be positive, be expectant, be very prayerful, and also be very specific as well on what kind of birthing labor experience you want. Don't just accept anything that comes your way. Do your research. I did my due diligence, but I was also really intentional about doing it the way that I wanted it to be done, and God really exceeded my expectations. And because the labor came so fast, I had my Bible notes, I had gospel music prepared, I even had my camera to record candid moments, but none of those things happened because the baby just wanted to come out of me. Wasn't it, babe?
Oh yeah.
Like literally, the baby just came out so quickly, and I'm so grateful that now we're a family of three, and we look forward to what God will do in the near future. Is there anything else that you would like to share regarding your journey, or even how you felt about me being pregnant, which I did enjoy, by the way? This pregnancy was beautiful for a first time pregnancy, giving birth in half an hour. Wow. Because there's a lot of stories that people give birth for up to 30 hours for their first pregnancy, sometimes days, weeks. Yeah.
No, nothing specific for me. The only thing is, gotta give thanks to God that the majority of the actual pregnancy duration, most of it was pretty smooth, pretty relatively easygoing in that didn't have too many like aches and pains for Esther. There wasn't too many like cravings or pains, anything like that throughout the majority of the actual pregnancy. So we thank God that most of those things were relatively minimal over the 9 months, and then it's only like towards the end where as you get closer to your due date, then the number of appointments that you have starts to like ramp up quite quickly, because as you get closer to your due date, it's like, okay, more things could be happening, or the birth could be happening relatively soon. So the hospitals want to have a couple more checks as you get closer to the due date. So that ramped up quite a bit as we're getting closer. But other than that, we thank God that the majority of the process itself was pretty smooth. And God has definitely been good. So we're very faithful. He's been very faithful, and we're very grateful.
Definitely. He has indeed been faithful, and we are very grateful. But overall, we just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you who has been on the journey with us. We are so grateful. To be here is a blessing. When we celebrated our first Christmas as a family, it was just amazing. My family came down, saw their beautiful grandchild. It was just amazing, and I'm so thankful to be having and doing life with my husband, our beautiful baby, bundle of joy. And for those who have really stood with us, our families, our loved ones, God has been so faithful, and I can't thank Him enough. Like, our lives have actually changed, and I will really encourage those who are desiring children, please cherish your marriage. Cherish it, because once you have children, truly, there's no going back. You are so responsible for bringing up your children. You are so responsible of ensuring that he or she is brought up well, loved well, cared for, cherished. The way you look after yourself, that's the same way you need to look after your baby, because God has entrusted you with a child. He has entrusted you with children. And one of the scriptures that I held on to during my pregnancy is Psalm 127 verse 3. And it encourages us and reminds us that children are truly an inheritance from the Lord. Offspring are a reward from Him. And God has really rewarded us. We only got married in 2023 November, and God has blessed us the year after in November 2024. Usually every November from 2020, God has really been so favorable towards us. And this is not to boast. This is not to say that, we're doing something completely different than others. This is just purely the grace of God. So we really hope that this video has encouraged you and reminds you to put your trust in Him. To see how far we've come is only by His grace and by His mercy. Thank you very much for watching our video. We really hope that you've enjoyed it. If there are any questions that you may have for my husband or I, leave your comments below and we will get back to you. Till next time, we'll see you in the upcoming video. Take care, everyone. Bye.